'cause God is good all the time. Hold tight on this sacred ride and embrace your beautiful and perfect life. You might have sunshine and we might have rain. When the two are together, the flower gives away. Every heart that's been broken will find love again. It's not a matter of how, but a matter of when. So embrace your beautiful life. It may be messed up, but it's blessed up, 'cause God is good all the time. Hold tight on this sacred ride and embrace your beautiful and perfect life. You are holy, holy, so let go of fear. You are holy, you're holy, 'cause God put you here. So embrace the beautiful life. Maybe messed up, but it's blessed up, 'cause God is good all the time. Hold tight on this sacred ride and embrace your beautiful and perfect life. Embrace your beautiful and perfect life. Is this a call and response? When I go like this, that means respond. I just wrote this for Reverend Frankie. I raise up my hands and give thanks for this land. I raise up my hands and give thanks for this land. I send out the vibes and praise every soul. I send out the vibes and praise every soul. I pray for the sick, the meek and the old. I pray for the sick, the meek and the old. I give thanks for the gifts I've been given. I give thanks for the gifts I've been given. Let's pray for the world to heal and to thrive. Let's pray for each other and our beautiful lives. Let's praise the earth as it shows us the way. Let's give thanks for this awesome day. Let's give praise. I give thanks for my family and all of my friends. I give thanks for my family and all of my friends. I pray for my enemies to find God within. I pray for my enemies to find God within. I'm thankful to nature for the beauty it shares. I'm thankful to nature for the beauty it shares. I'm grateful for abundance in food and finance. I'm grateful for abundance in food and finance. Let's pray for the world to heal and to thrive. Let's pray for this beautiful lives. Let's pray for the earth to show us the way. Let's give thanks for this awesome day. Let's give praise. All right, one more verse, everybody. I praise this body that greets each new day. I praise this body that greets each new day. Thankful for my hands that give in many ways. I'm thankful for my hands that give in many ways. I'm grateful for my legs and my walking feet. I'm grateful for my legs and my walking feet. So I can serve those in need. So I can serve those in need. Let's pray for the world to heal and to thrive. Let's pray for each other and our beautiful lives. Let's pray for the earth as it shows us the way. Let's give thanks for this awesome day. One more time, right? Let's give thanks for this awesome day. Let's give praise. One more time. Let's give thanks for this awesome day. Let's give praise.
Yay, that's Kim Yarson. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Center for Spiritual Living Morristown. Those of you who are here in person, it's always great to get your vibe. There's, sometimes we don't seem to feel the difference between the virtual and real, but there's a big difference, right? So those of you who are here, I'm so glad you're here. And those of you who are in the virtual world, we bless you and we thank you for being with us today. We are still in the theme for November, which is Breathe in the View. And it's part of the entire year's theme, which is Timeless Wisdom, Evolutionary Vision. Today, the topic is Keep Praising. Or for those of you that have never praised before, start praising. And so I'm Frankie Timmers. I'm the spiritual director here at Center for Spiritual Living Morristown, and we have a lot going on. So one of the things that are happening that many know is that we have sold our building, and we're leaving this building sooner than we thought, but there's always divine right timing. And so we're packing and we're cleaning, and you're all invited to help because we need lots of hands and feet. But those of you that are here today, make sure you take a peek downstairs because there are lots of giveaways that is really memorabilia for you to take home because you love being here so much. And there's also a broken dishwasher that is full of dirty dishes. So if somebody says, I'm a worker bee, you can go wash those dishes, dry them, and somebody will tell you where to put them. And then there are some beautiful big plants that I think most of them Jean has brought in. So speak to Jean whether you can take one or not. I'm not sure which ones she wants to take home with you. So just talk to each other and let us know how you'd like to help, what you'd like to take. And then there's a used book sale downstairs as well, just on a donation basis. Those of you who are here for the first time, we're so glad that you found your way to our spiritual community because even though we won't be in this building, we ain't going anywhere. And I know that our beautiful teaching is a gift and a blessing to many because it's truly a way to navigate through these challenges and these changes that are happening on our planet so that you have a solid foundation and support. And we offer that through our teaching, but also through spiritual community. If you are here for the first time or you haven't been in a while, you get to grab a free book on our book table back there. So make sure you pick one. And this lovely lady on my left is Kim Yarson, who wrote some beautiful music for us today that you just heard, and we're always glad when she's here. She brings so much talent and so much joy in her music. So the topic today is Keep or Start Praising, and what that's going to be about is based on a song by Karen Drucker, and it says, I praise my life, I raise my life in the name of love. So we're going to explore that, how that can be a true spiritual practice. It's actually really, really easy. Check us out on our website, cslmorristown.org. There's lots of information there, including a place where you can decide that you want to support us financially, which we always welcome. There's some really easy ways, and if you don't go online, there's a form in the back that shows you some easy ways to do that. So if you are on the virtual side of this experience, Let us know you're here. Say hello. Do your thumbs up, your little hearts, your little smiley faces, or maybe sad faces. And make comments. Let us know what you love, what you don't love, what you need, what you want. And check us out also on YouTube, because we're there as well, forever in the Ethernet. So now we have a special guest who is not only the assisting practitioner student today, but she's doing a book signing later, because we have some authors amidst us. There's Kate, who's a new author. You'll hear about her. We have Gail. We have Theo, who just launched a book. And Gail has been an amazing student and truly demonstrating this teaching. So first, she's going to bless us with an opening treatment, and then she's going to do a reading from her book. And then she's going to do a book signing, a Q&A later at 11:30, and you can purchase her book all you want and pass it on to anyone and everyone. Great Christmas gift. But I'll introduce the book in a moment after Gail blesses us with an opening treatment.
Good morning on this beautiful day, sunny, just enough nip in the air. The leaves are changing colors. And so with that in mind, I invite you to close your eyes and go within as we recognize the one power that is all of life, that is all of beauty, grace, goodness, that is peace and harmony, that is everywhere, always a presence and never an absence. And it is worthy of our praise today and every day. We are one with this power, one with this presence. And so that peace, that harmony, that beauty lives within as we connect with it right now in this moment, in this sacred space. And so as I am one with that spirit, so is each one within these walls. Each one outside of these walls. There's no separation, only divine love. And so for that, we give thanks and praise as I release this word into the law, and let it be, and so it is.
And so it is.
So I had the honor to hear this beautiful woman's life story a while ago. How long would you say that is? 4 years ago? About 4 years ago, and it really touched my heart. Gail is a living, walking demonstration of this beautiful teaching and of her faith. And this book, Butterfly Rising, A Journey to Love, Healing, and Freedom from the Cocoon of Codependency, is a very powerful story of how that happened, how she did that. And every time she shares about her past and shares her story, I'm more in awe of her inner and outer beauty, her courage, her strength, and her persistence. And so you're going to hear a little bit from that story right now, and then you'll hear more about it later when we have our book signing, and she'll share some more, and we'll do some questions and answers. But now let's give her a really big applause, because she deserves it. Woo!
This short reading is from chapter 13, The Love of Higher Power. When we enter a dark room and flip on the light, we see the illumination without visualizing the electric power that is its source. But if we place our finger in the socket through which the current flows, we experience a powerful shock, an invisible force that knocks us off our feet and makes our hair stand on end. In fact, electrocution can transport us from the realm of the material into the invisible world of the infinite. This transference is how I describe my introduction to my higher power. The shock of a nearly full-blown nervous breakdown that immobilized me shot me into the realm of higher consciousness and a new life. By admitting that my life had become unmanageable, I came to know and rely on God in a new and profound way, in a way far more personal than just believing what I was taught about God as a child. I developed a personal relationship with my higher power that grew beyond merely praying to get my needs met. I came to understand and appreciate divine love and infinite intelligence as the grace and goodness of life. I found an inner wisdom that I could always trust and rely on, no matter the situation. I came to know this higher power more intimately as my God. Every morning that I sit in silent meditation, prayer leads me further away from the pain of my family tragedies and into a garden of healing. So I decided to let go of the personified image of God as a white-bearded judge and ruler of the universe, because that likeness could not serve the needs of my circumstances. Instead, I opened my heart and mind to the divine force that created the heavens and earth, something no earthly being could do. What I needed was access to that higher guidance, intelligence, and wisdom, a comforting presence, a mystical understanding beyond my own. I needed to be known, loved, and accepted without judgment of my personal flaws and past mistakes. I needed to trust that my higher power also loved my addicted loved ones and was available to them just as to me. As I placed my trust in higher power, I recognized there was no quick fix for my problems, which is what I previously prayed for. I had insisted that God fix my broken husband and make everything okay. Recognizing the pain caused by my codependent experience inspired me to make personal changes. I surrendered my will to a higher power who had an unspoken understanding of my needs and desires. Rather than always asking for something when I found myself in a pickle, I opened up to a growing relationship beyond me. I sought to learn the lessons from my family relationships and to live in higher purpose. Surrendering to my higher power meant embracing my freedom of choice, and my choice was to let go of disempowering beliefs that no longer served me, such as misplaced loyalty and self-sacrifice. I accepted accountability for my own life without trying to force my will on others. At first, it's difficult to understand the concept of full surrender to higher power when conventional social wisdom emphasizes power through control. Surrender is painted as giving up or throwing in the towel. When it comes to recovery, surrender requires you to give up all that you previously tried to control. Surprisingly, I discovered my own power in letting go. Not only answers, not needing always to be right, forgiving myself and others, granting self-compassion for my personal missteps and mistakes. I found healing from frustration, blame, and resentment began as I surrendered my need to play the righteous victim to my higher power. My conversations with God were no longer foxhole prayers that tried to strike bargains to get what I wanted. My spirit began to soar as I offered prayers of personal honesty, spiritual depth, and true substance. Each time I experienced new self-knowledge and deeper inner awareness. I released expectations of how circumstances should have been or could still be. Instead, I surrendered in gratitude to my life's challenges and tragedies as opportunities for spiritual growth. I surrendered in trust to omnipotent love and grace, and I affirmed in prayer my biggest dreams and deepest yearnings. The more consistent I became in my spiritual practice, the more I was freed of past slights and pains. My heart opened up to greater love and compassion. When I stopped blaming my husband for my pain, I no longer felt like a victim. In the quiet of my morning meditations, my frustration and resentments melted away, replaced by supreme serenity. I began to enjoy the experience of a budding relationship with my higher power as my life flourished. The stress of my situation began to melt away.
Thank you. That was beautiful. I've been broken. I've been scarred. I felt pain enough to tear my soul apart, but I wouldn't let it. I've watched loved ones go in the ground. I've had friends come and go and let me down. I still love them, yes, I still love them. Life may bring some rainfall, the sun won't always shine, but I can always find a reason to be thankful I'm alive. I know children who grow up too fast, lost in the shadow of their parents' past. But I know love heals, yes, I know love heals. I see chaos where there is war. We've forgotten what we could be fighting for. Peace between us, peace within us. Life may bring some rainfall, the sun won't always shine, but I can always find a reason to be thankful I'm alive. I hear music, I feel God's love. I see clouds pouring snowflakes from above. I'm inspired, I'm inspired. Life may bring some rainfall, the sun won't always shine, but I can always find a reason to be thankful. Oh, so thankful. I'm alive, I'm alive. I can always find a reason to be thankful. Oh, so thankful. I'm alive. Ooh.
Oh, perfect. The microphone is like a mask hanger. I discovered something new. All right. Thank you, Kim. sing to. Thank you. Even though we missed Joe today. So the one thing that I forgot to share with you is that you might want to check out Gail's podcast on iTunes, Spotify. It's really, really good. Thank you, Gail. That was the perfect reading. So the topic today is keep or start praising. I think we can all start praising because I don't know about you, but there are times where I forget to praise. And I might be complaining or be distracted or whatever. And so there's always an opportunity to return when we forget, right? And so when I say praise it, it comes from this song by Karen Drucker that goes like, I praise my life, I raise my life in the name of love. And you can change life to family, the world. So we're going to probably practice that a little bit. When we say it, praise it, what do you think we're talking about when we say, can I feel it? Can you feel this idea of praising something? When you're praising it, or whatever that is, what is it that you're doing? What is it that you're feeling? Kind of shout it out.
Joy.
You feel joy, yeah. When you praise someone or praise something, there's a joy that rises up inside of you. What else?
Energy.
Gratitude. Surrender. Life. Energy, right? So there's something that happens when you're praising. And so when I am praising something that might be challenging, it does the same thing. It lifts it up, it raises it, it awakens something in us, it makes us remember. And so what we're experiencing right now in the world is this great awakening that started with the COVID epidemic. When that happened, I believe, and many of us who are on a spiritual path, believe that that was the great wake-up call. It was the great awakening. And many of us really listened, really paid attention, and really used it. But when we look at the world and we watch the news, I won't get into any specifics, but when we look at the world and watch the news, we can see who is still asleep. Whether it's individuals or collectives or organizations or businesses, we can kind of see that. It's important that we really curse that and really bitch about it and complain about it and gossip about it and are angry about it, right? No. What do we do on a spiritual path? We choose to look at it in a different way, and we choose to praise what it is that we want instead. We don't go, la, 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 it isn't happening, which is called spiritual bypass and does more damage than we'll ever know. But we notice it. We allow ourselves to notice what we're thinking, feel what we're feeling, look at what it is that we believe, and then decide what we want to transform that into. And that's what we praise. So if we hear a lot about discrimination, racism, abuse, war, all that, we don't deny it, because that's gotten us to where we are. But we say, what is it that I want to see birth out of that through us, through me? That may be peace, it may be respect, it may be love, it may be joy. And then we start praising that. And so, as a human being, we might do the cursing and the blessing, but as a spiritual being, which we each are, we must keep awakening to the truth of our very being, declare it, praise it, demonstrate it, and raise it up. And so it's Rumi who said, the breeze at dawn has secrets to tell you. Don't go back to sleep. The breeze at dawn has secrets to tell you. Don't go back to sleep. You must ask for what you really want. Don't go back to sleep. People are going back and forth across the door sill where the two worlds touch. The door is round and open. Don't go back to sleep. So we pay attention to where it is that we go to sleep. Going to sleep in this case means we forget our essential nature. We forget the absolute truth about life. We forget who and what we really are, which is individualized expressions of the One. We forget that we always have more than enough. That forgetfulness is part of our human nature where we are struggling in the opposites. The remembrance is going back to the truth of our being, our essence, our spirit, our soul, which is having a whole different experience than our human ego does. And that's why we don't want to go to sleep, because going to sleep means that we're so focused on the physical human ego experience that we keep trying to feed, because that part of us is always hungry and always wants more, which is hence the Great Awakening. The Great Awakening is like, oh wait, I'm a soul first. I don't have a soul, I am a soul. And what is my soul's evolution about? What am I here to live? What am I here to experience? What am I here to contribute? Whether that's loud or quiet. Asking for what you really want isn't just a house, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, more money, a job, health. Asking for what you really want is asking for the truth to be revealed through us. It's like they say in Buddhism, that wanting the truth so badly, like a person whose head is being held underwater wants to breathe. And then staying awake in that. And the way we do that is we remember that the truth is ever wanting to be revealed through us by holding the higher vision and by continuing to serve that vision by asking, what is mine to do? What is mine to be? So that's where the praising happens, right? You start with appreciation. You start at appreciation rather than at gossiping, complaining, cursing. It's just being aware. It's like, oh wait, I have so much to be grateful for. Your beautiful song, and I know your story a little bit. So it's real, right? We've all had our burdens. We all have our struggles, all of us. Every human being you meet, even the worst person on the planet. And how can we appreciate our differences? How can we appreciate that we're all on this journey of awakening? We're just all in different places, right? And so starting to appreciate it means to look longer, to look deeper, to slow it down, to notice what happens when we're judging, without judging it, right? Without shaming ourselves or anyone else. To look longer means that we have to work on our attention span, which is pretty pathetic at the moment for most people. That's what happens with our smartphones, right? Our attention span changes. It changes our attention span, right? So it means that we have to look longer and wait and pause and think. It means that we have to look deeper. That's what metaphysics means. I think it's so interesting that, what's his name, Zuckerberg is going to change the word Facebook to metaverse. It's not that meta. It's a different meta. Metaphysical means beyond the physical, which means the spiritual. To look deeper, to look at the spiritual message, the spiritual meaning. How that experience wants to awaken you to see a greater truth. And then we slip into gratitude. Then we slip into gratitude. We always have something to be grateful for. And you know what I think the practice of gratitude is, which is a spiritual practice? It's like spiritual miracle grow. So what if you gave thanks for your struggles, your burdens, your suffering? It means that you're looking at it from a spiritual point of view. You're looking longer and you're looking deeper, and the seeds will grow. Because the complaining and the feeling victimized is just killing the seeds. So Ernest Holmes has a passage in a textbook, which I have not memorized the Science of Mind textbook yet. I know that's really shocking to some of you, because I've been in this teaching like 100 years. But sometimes there are sections in here where I go, I don't remember that. I never even really read it, or I've never really seen it. They must have put it in recently. So this one is like that. So I've read it so many times this week because I love it so much. He says, everything our thought rests upon is either retarded or quickened. Everything our thought rests upon is either retarded or quickened by the power of that thought. That's what I did every time I saw it. And I had to read it many times because I'm like, what? So I'm going to read it again just for myself. Just, do your thing. Everything our thought rests upon is either retarded or quickened by the power of that thought. Everyone is a law unto themselves under the great law of cause and effect governing all things. When we constructively praise and creatively bless, life abounds with love, peace, and joy. Let goodness shine forth. Let us learn to see that everyone is an evolving Christ. Let us so live and think that we may retire at night in peace, knowing that no harm can come to our soul. That we may rise in the morning renewed in body and mind with a brighter outlook and happier expectation and clearer joy, looking upon all with love, condemning none, and blessing even those we seek to injure, or who seek to injure us. Let us learn to be perfect, even as that divine being residing in the heart of all and overshadowing eternity must also be perfect. So we have to be careful with the word perfect, right? It doesn't mean perfectionism. It just means as is. Those of you who want to go back to this page 434, 435. So Karen Drucker has this song, I praise my life, I raise my life in the name of love. I'm no singer. I never will be. Okay, you do that one. But I love that song because it's like a mantra, and it comes out of sacreddays.org from Maria Nemeth and Lloyd Strom, and it's a part of their practice. Many of you are familiar with Fear to Faith. It comes out of that whole system. And I love that she uses all different things, my life, my world, my body, my family, my whatever, right? And so we can do that as a mantra, starting with praising. And at once we're praising, spiritual miracle grow, we raise up, we rise up, we actually are raising up the truth, not literally, because really what's happening is the truth is rising inside of us, because that's how the law works, right? And so that is worthy of celebration. The raising is celebrating the differences, celebrating being awake enough to be grateful for everything. It means being in celebration of all of our lives. It's so easy, I know this, it's so easy to say, I curse my health, or lack thereof. I curse money, or the lack thereof. I curse what's happening in politics, or whatever it may be, right? But that's where we pause and we realize that we're using the creative process to keep the experience where it is, to worsen it, or to have an effect upon us that we don't really want. And so we begin to really think about it. And my word of the day is simplicity. Is that how can we keep it the most simple? How can we do this in the most simple way? Because if you're anything like me, when I started meditation, I put it off for 10 years because it was just too difficult. It was just too overwhelming. So if we start there, I can't do it, it's too difficult, it's too overwhelming, it's too much. Hello? We want to think about what that means, right? So the simplicity is around being. How can I be more simple in my life? How can I do things in a more simple way? How can what I have be more simple? My meditation teacher says, if you have 2 chairs and you only use one, you have too many chairs. So we've been cleaning here in the building. Oh my goodness. How many of you have ever moved? So have you noticed that when you're packing that stuff just comes out of the walls? It's like, where does that come from, right? Do you know that the majority of people in the world are horrified by how much stuff we have in this culture, in this country, and how we think we still don't have enough and we need more? That's why we have Bed Bath & Beyond, right? And 20% off coupons. I decided I'm not taking anything home with me. I've already taken a box with stuff. So we want to really look in our home and sit and stand in our home, realizing that if we have stuff we don't need, if we have too much, it's a burden. And how can we release that? How can we make it more simple? Because everything you own draws upon your energy. Everything you own draws upon your life force. And so we want to really think about it. How can I live my life more simply? How can I be more simple? How can I do things more simply? And how can I have what I have in a more simple way? That may not mean getting rid of stuff. It just may mean to look at it in a different way. Simplicity is also miracle grow for a thriving way of being in the world. One of the ways that we can start by practicing simplicity is focusing on the breath. When I teach in prison, which I now do on Zoom, teach meditation, which I've been doing for like 11 years, that's where we start. And it's always amazing to me to see how hard it is for them to simply breathe. And you may have noticed that. To sit in a room with your eyes closed, no music, just simply breathe. That tells you a lot about your consciousness, about the simplicity or lack thereof in your life, right? To just start with a simple breath. So I want you to close your eyes for a moment and take a deep, slow breath. And simply say or sing to yourself quietly, I praise my life. I raise my life. All in the name of love. I praise my body. I raise my body. All in the name of love. I praise this world. I raise this world. All in the name of love. I praise my burden, and you know which one that is at the moment. I praise this burden. I raise this burden, all in the name of love. And now you can open your eyes. Praising and raising in the name of love is how we demonstrate. You might have an area in your life where you say, I've been working my booty off and it just hasn't demonstrated yet. By the way, that's a great affirmation. But the idea is, that means that you have more to see in a deeper way, that you have more to understand, that you have more practice. And it's not about getting rid of it. It's about using it as a way to lift yourself up. Because we demonstrate in the name of love. We don't demonstrate in the name of complaining, or in the name of a curse, or in the name of a distraction, right? We demonstrate in the name of love. So if I am loving my body to health, it's going to be a whole different experience than if I complain or worry or anxious, whatever that verb is, into what I want it to be. Does that make sense? Makes sense, right? So glad. Made sense to me yesterday. So it's about surrendering resistance then. Surrendering what's in the way. Obviously, if this is my experience and that's not what I want, there's something in the way and it must be in my consciousness. So let me praise it and raise it in the name of love so it can go away or go back to where it came from. Or I can make peace with it. Because there's certain things we're just going to have to make peace with. Because you can't work them to death. Because you work yourself to death, right? So it's making peace with it. And so surrendering the resistance is take a breath. That's how we surrender resistance in a simple way. Take a breath. Let go. Repeat. Take a breath. Let it go. And it will come back. Repeat. Take a breath. Let it go. It's the ego mind that loves to hold on to it because it looks at it from a very limited perspective. It's your soul and your spirit, your spiritual mind, that loves to let it go and loves to experience the greater freedom of it because it understands and knows that which is unlimited. So the invitation for this Thanksgiving week is to practice extreme gratitude. I've never been somebody that would love to practice extreme sports. That's like, what? But extreme gratitude? Yes, ma'am. Bring it on. Practicing extreme gratitude. Not because you don't have any issues, challenges, worries, fears, but because you don't want to be soaked in that, experience that, demonstrate that. And so, why would we not practice extreme gratitude? Does anybody have a reason why we wouldn't want to practice extreme gratitude? Really? Nobody has an answer?
It's not comfortable.
It's not comfortable, right? But that's not the reason why we wouldn't practice it, right? And if we say, well, I'm not going to practice extreme gratitude because it's not comfortable, what do you think it's going to be like? Yeah, Bashi.
Procrastination.
Huh?
Procrastination.
Procrastination, yes, and those are really not the truth. The reason that you didn't give an answer because you know there is not an answer. Because those answers, they're not the resistance itself to practice extreme gratitude, because extreme gratitude is our essential nature. It's remembering like, oh, I'm a spiritual being. Oh, I have everything I need. Oh, I am up this morning. Oh, I have love in my life. Even if it's from your baby kitten or your favorite mug, right? It's like really allowing ourselves to